What trading stage are you in, and how do you actually escape it? There's one question that separates traders who eventually make it from the ones who grind for years and quietly disappear. It's not what's your strategy. It's not what's your risk management. It's this. Do you actually know what problem you're trying to solve right now? Because there are 6 stages every trader goes through, and each one has a completely different problem and a completely different fix. Most traders are trying to solve stage 5 problems while they're still stuck in stage 2. That's why nothing works. So let's find out exactly where you are. Stage 1. The Gambler. You probably think you've passed this stage, but most people haven't. Because the gambler isn't a phase, it's a mindset. You see price move, you feel the pull, you click. Not because your setup triggered, but because you didn't want to miss it. You win a few trades, and you think, I've got this. You lose a few, and suddenly, I need to make it back. That's the trap. Because the gambler isn't gambling with money, they're gambling with feedback. Every random win teaches the wrong lesson. Every revenge trade hides the real problem. And the dangerous part? You can have a strategy, rules written down, and still be stuck here. If that felt familiar, you're not alone. Most traders don't escape this stage, they just carry it forward. Stage 2. The Learner. This is where most traders live, and it feels like progress. That's what makes it dangerous. You're watching videos, learning setups, adding indicators. Your chart looks advanced. You sound like you know what you're doing, but your results don't change. Because you're not learning how to trade, you're learning how to feel productive. New strategy? Exciting. New indicator? Maybe this is it. New mentor? Finally. 2 weeks later, back to zero. Here's the truth. Information doesn't compound. Execution does. And until you stop collecting and start committing, you'll stay stuck here. But here's where it gets painful. Because the next stage is where you did everything right, and it still doesn't work. Stage 3. The Loss Maker. This one hits different, because now you actually tried. You picked a strategy, you stuck with it, and you're still losing. So now you're stuck in between, too invested to quit, too frustrated to trust it. You tweak entries, you adjust stops, you second-guess everything. You know you should trust the system, but deep down, you don't. Because you never proved it. That's the real problem. Not discipline, not strategy, lack of evidence. You didn't backtest enough. You don't know your win rate. You don't know your drawdowns. So when losses come, you panic, and you destroy a system that might have actually worked. The exit from this stage isn't more discipline, it's proof. Stage 4. Emotional Control. This stage looks boring, and that's why it works. You've done the backtesting. You know your numbers. So when you lose, it doesn't shake you, because it's expected. You're not trying to win trades anymore. You're executing a process. That shift changes everything. You're calm. You're consistent. You're in control. But here's the catch. This stage doesn't make you rich. It just stops you from losing. Stage 5. The Break-Even Trader. This stage is quiet. No big losses, no emotional mistakes. You're doing almost everything right, and yet your account barely moves. You're flat, maybe slightly up, sometimes slightly down. And it's confusing, because now you feel like a real trader. So why isn't the money following? Because your edge is too small. Your winners aren't big enough. Your execution isn't sharp enough. Maybe you're cutting profits early. Maybe you're playing too safe. This isn't mindset anymore. It's refinement. And most traders mess up here. They think, this system doesn't work. So they restart everything and go back to stage 2. Don't do that. You're closer than you think. Because once this clicks, everything changes. Stage 6, the profitable trader. This stage is not what you expect. There's no excitement, no adrenaline. It's just routine. You see your setup, you take it, you manage it, you close it, and you move on. That's it. Profitable trading is boring because the chaos is gone. You trust your system, you trust your process, you trust the math. So you just execute over and over again. But there's one final trap: complacency. You start feeling comfortable. You loosen rules. You size up too fast. And slowly, you slide back. Because the market doesn't reward confidence. It punishes it. So your job here is simple. Protect the process. So now ask yourself, what stage am I actually in? Not where you want to be, where you really are. Because each stage needs a different fix. And the traders who make it aren't the smartest. They're just honest enough to say, this is where I'm stuck. And then fix that one thing. So, what stage are you in? Because that answer changes everything.